he'll either not attend the meeting or he'll be here later. He has a personal event that he's dealing with. And I'll be as Mayor Pro Tem, I will take over for this, hold this meeting. Thank you. So I'd like to start with with the invocation. Are any of the pastors here? Pastor Jackson, okay, please step forward and help us with the invocation. If you could all stand, please, those that can.
Heavenly Father, we come before you in the name of the Lord, giving you praise, glory, honor, and thanksgiving. We acknowledge you in all of our ways, and you will direct our path. And in these times and age, Lord God, with things happening around the world and here in Southern California with fires, floods, death, people being buried alive, Lord, we need you. We need you to help us in our community. We need you to help us in our jobs. We need you to help us with our police department that rolls around the city to serve and to protect where there is needed, Lord. We need you in our school district, Lord, with the teachers and help teaching our children, Lord, to grow up and be productive citizens as they become adults, Lord. Our businesses, let it flourish, Lord, here in our churches. And I thank you, Father, for the city council, that they will come together, Lord God, in unity and in one accord and making decisions for the best for this city called Baldwin Park. And we thank you for just here in the fire department, Lord, that our fire department, Lord, they have done a tremendous job from different cities to help protect property, Lord. So we're asking you, Lord God, for your mighty hand of protection. And our soldiers, there's so many things to ask you, but we want to give you praise, glory, and honor and thanksgiving for what you have already done. In the name of the Lord we pray. Amen.
Amen. And thank you for that, Pastor Jackson. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Y'all may be seated. And if I could ask our city clerk for roll call.
Good evening. Here. Here. Present. Mayor
Present. He'll be excused today from this meeting. Oh, that's it? Okay, thank you.
We're just going to go back forward.
Just do this?
Yeah, just go straight to
Okay, there's nothing to report out from a closed session. And I'd like to ask, we're going to start our proclamations and commendations. So I'd like to get ask for our...
Vice Mayor.
Sorry?
I would like
yes,
to. I would like to close on this council meeting on behalf of several people, if that's all right.
Okay. If council members have any requests they'd like to make, please proceed.
First of all, I'd like to acknowledge Jordan Rios, who passed away before Christmas, Mr. Rios' grandson. Congresswoman Grace Napolitano's husband, Frank, passed away just before Christmas as well. I would like to see if we could please send her a letter on behalf of the city of condolences. And then there's John Brenner, which was the class of 1980 at Sierra Vista High School. He was in the band, and he passed away a few days ago. Nita Lacer, a longtime resident of Baldwin Park and of the Women's Club, passed away also a few days ago. Her memorial service will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the Women's Club. And then a lot of you may know Soledad Tovar, or Cruz Tovar, who is a poet that we've given awards to before and has traveled representing the city of Baldwin Park, and a member of the Friends of the Library. Her son, Moises Tovar, passed away a few days ago as well, another young man. So our condolences go out to all the families and everyone in regards to losing their loved ones. So our prayers are with you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Cruz Baca. Anyone else has anything they'd like to say?
No, but if I may, there's a few elected officials that I just want to recognize in the audience. First and foremost, I believe I see Al Contreras from the Upper San Gabriel Municipal Water District. And then we see some of our commissioners as well. I think those are the only ones I see. But I also want to just welcome our SCIU 721 Public Works. They're all in the back. Thank you guys for coming today. Thank you.
Yes, City Treasurer.
I want to say a few words. First of all, I just want to, I'm sorry I missed the whole month of December. I was ill for 3 weeks. The last week, I had surgery in my right eye. I've been blind for 3 months. I want to thank my husband for seeing, following his football for better for work. In sickness and in health.
Six. Can I have the six?
Was my eyesight, and I'm very blessed that I remember.
Number 6.
I wish everybody a happy and blessed new year. I want to congratulate
I found it.
you for being our new vice mayor, and I know you will do. And for that, I thank everybody. Sorry, Christy, I have to.
Thank you for those kind words, City Treasurer Maria Contreras. And our City Clerk has a few words to share.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I just want to say thank you to Christy. Christy, our Deputy City Clerk, unfortunately will be leaving us. I'm very saddened by this. We have been very lucky to have her here all these years. 3 years was not long enough, but I'm very happy for her new move, and I want to congratulate her, and you will be definitely missed here. Thank you for your service.
Mayor Pro Tem, while you
So I'd
guys...
like to ask if you could please step, I guess, here in the middle, and we'll present you this beautiful, this word. Or come up here to the back, sorry. All right, and might join me, the City Council. So, Christy, if you could step here next to me, and I'd like to ask my council members to come around me as we present Christy Russell, our very distinguished Chief Deputy City Clerk. And we want to present you with this award, but I just also want to tell you thank you so much. You know, me personally, I know you've always worked hard for us. You're always pushing things. We never get a chance to really thank you because we're always running around. But I just wanted to recognize you myself personally and our city council members about all the wonderful work you do, being kind, always having a great smile, and just doing everything that we ask you to do to the best of your abilities. You've done a great job, and we're going to be surely missed by all of us. You're like a big part of our family, and but bless you wherever you go, and may God follow you, and that all goes well. So let me read this to you. Hopefully you could all have heard me, but I didn't have the mic to. But if you could just step forward, I'll say this in the mic. So this is in recognition of your 3 years of hard work and outstanding dedication to the City Clerk's office and the City of Baldwin Park. We commend you for the unconditional commitment you've given your colleagues, residents, business owners, and the entire San Gabriel Valley community. We wish you the best in the future endeavors. This date, January 17th, by Mayor Lozano, Mayor Pro Tem Ricardo Pacheco, council members Cruz Baca, Monica Garcia, Susan Rubio, and our city clerk, Alejandra Avila, and our city treasurer, Maria Contreras. Thank you. If other council members would like to share a few words. I think you'll stay here.
Okay, since I have the opportunity to speak a little more. As my deputy city clerk, a lot of you may not know, she truly runs the office upstairs. She is amazing. And I'm a little scared because we are having elections this year, so wish me luck because now it'll be by myself. Well, hopefully we'll get somebody to come and step in pretty soon. But Christy does a lot of things that a lot of us probably don't even imagine, from taking our bad moods to taking different calls from everybody and just always being on top of things. And like Mr. Pacheco said, with a smile, and she's always very professional, very efficient. Whoever's taking her from us is very lucky, and we're definitely going to miss her, but we hope to keep in touch with her because she is a wonderful person. Thank you, Christy.
Let's gonna take, say it out.
Do you want to sit through?
Yes, but let's take a picture so we can.
Do you want to switch around?
Thank you. I'll say something real quickly.
I'm too bad. Do you want to say something?
I just want to thank Christy real quickly as well. I mean, I don't know if you remember, many moons ago, I used to be the elected city clerk of the city of Baldwin Park, so I can tell you firsthand, it's a lot of running around, a lot of last-minute calls, and a lot of, public records requests, and we know that our city is notorious for those. I mean, it takes hours and hours, so thank you so much for your service, and we're going to miss you dearly. Thank you.
I too want to say thank you for all the last minute things that you put together for us. Everybody coming at you from different angles, and you've been incredible. I hope that whoever comes in knows what big shoes they have to fill. And your future employer is a very, very lucky person. So lots of luck to you with a bittersweet, I say, hasta luego, muchacha.
So, Christy, let me join in. I've already expressed to you my appreciation for your work. And when Christy was first hired, we had a serious backlog of minutes and other city clerk-related items. And so you just jumped right in and helped us get to where we need to be. So I want to say thank you, and your work has not gone unnoticed. We fully appreciate what you've done for us, and best wishes in your next chapter.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I may say something before
Yes, you
we
may.
go further, and I'm sorry I forgot to mention it, this is the first time we're back since New Year's, and I want to recognize a couple of our staff departments that worked really hard. First and foremost, the Parks and Recs, they put together a really nice New Year's Eve party for the seniors, and a few of us were there, so that was really lovely. Thank you so much. Thank the staff, as well as our PD, of course. They were working hard New Year's Eve, and they were out there patrolling the streets, so thank you for keeping us safe, and Happy New Year's. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that. And before we start, as you know, it's a new year, and I just kind of wanted to read a prayer poem that I found to start out this new year. So it reads, God, as we start a new year, remind us all we have to be proud of that we live in America. We are proud of our cities, our farms, our schools, our hospitals, our government, our natural wonders and monuments, our history, our discoveries, our knowledge and creative in our vision. But mostly we are proud to be a people, individuals from all walks of life, from all ethnic traditions. Our people, more than anything else, define who we are. Help us to act and speak in ways that make us all proud to be Americans. Our strength is our people. Amen. Just wanted to share those thoughts with you. And as we continue our meeting, we are now going to recognize our senior citizen, King and Queens. If you could please step forward. We're going to do a presentation of plaques and recognition for our 2017 Senior King and Queen, Mr. Jorge and Maria Hernandez. Give them a round of applause. If staff could help them lead forward, and we'll present them with some flower gifts and other plaque. Thank you. Cruz? Monica? Okay, after I read the plaque, you guys. You'll just stand on my right and left side. Okay, so. Okay, if you could step forward here. So as you all know, we had a wonderful event, and we presented Georgia Maria Hernandez won for the King and Queen. So we're going to present them with a plaque and some flowers. This is for our 2017 Senior Prom King and Queen. The City Council would like to congratulate you for being selected King and Queen of the 24th Annual Senior Citizen Prom. Thank you for the favorable recognition you bring to the Senior Citizen Center and to our community. This day, January 17, 2018, presented by Mayor Manuel Lozano, Mayor Pro Tem Ricardo Pacheco, Council members Cruz Baca, Monica Garcia, Susan Rubio, our City Treasurer Maria Contreras, and our City Clerk Alejandra Avila. So again, big round of applause as we present the plaque. And the flowers. Okay, let's take some pictures. Everybody scoot in. Our senior king will share a few words.
I just want to thank you very much to all of you for the great job that you're doing for the community, and to the senior center that they voted for us. Thank you again. Thank to our police department. They're doing a great job. Thank you again to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pass me the water. Oh, what? Oh. Okay. Okay, here we go. Now, okay, our next item on the agenda is a presentation by John Sico, the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, for an update on the Measure H and the Home for Good grants. Are they here today?
Yes, actually, yes, Mayor Pro Tem Pacheco, I'd like to introduce some of the representatives that will be discussing the Los Angeles County Homeless Initiative. We have a brief presentation, and we're very honored to have several representatives. We have Leticia Colchada from the Homeless Initiative team, Spot 3 Representative, LA County CEO's Office of Homeless. We also have Christian Cruz, Managing Analyst, San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, and we have our very own Yuriko Rios Esparza. She is the city liaison for this particular project for the city of Baldwin Park. At this point, I will turn it over.
A round of applause. Thank you for being here.
No, she's not here.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for having us here. My name is Leticia Colchado, again with the Los Angeles County Homeless Initiative. Since February of 2016, our office within the Chief Executive Office of the County of Los Angeles has been leading the county's efforts in developing and coming up with a comprehensive plan to combat homelessness. We've been very focused on being inclusive and ensuring that we're taking a regional approach to developing our plan and see cities as a key partner as we move forward. Let's see. So the approach that we've taken of being inclusive and collaborative has really been beneficial to us. We see it as what has led to the successful passage of Measure H, the first kind of nationwide ongoing revenue source dedicated exclusively to combating homelessness. And we hope to continue our work with in strong partnerships with both cities and individuals across the community. Measure H services are already kind of, although the tax didn't begin until October of 2017, Measure H services actually began being provided in July of 2017. And we've rolled out the Measure H services through partnerships with both county departments and community-based organizations that provide services to residents countywide. And as part of this kind of ongoing effort, one of the things that we've, again, been focused on doing is making sure that we have a regional approach. So our Board of Supervisors, again, identify the key role that cities play in helping us to really see the fruits of our plan, succeed, and directed our office to work with cities to help cities develop their own city regional plan to combat homelessness, and provided funding to help cities just in the planning process. And I'm going to turn it over to Christian Cruz from the San Gabriel Valley COG to kind of go into a little bit more about that work.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Christian Cruz. I'm with the COG. Jan Seco is our regional homelessness coordinator. She had an unavoidable emergency, so she couldn't be here tonight. But I want to thank all of you for having me here. So I want to speak a little bit about the Baldwin Park award. So they were awarded $50,000 for the grant to create a homeless plan. On December 5th, the city provided a letter of a commitment to enter into an MOU with the San Gabriel Valley COG for consultant procurement and management. On February 7th, this council is scheduled to bring the MOU before the City Council to adopt it, and on March 1st, the executed MOU will be due. In partnership with the member cities, the COG released a request for proposal for consulting services. That request for proposal had some brought in, and so the cities reviewed, there's about 4 cities that were interested in reviewing those proposals and interviewed top-rated consulting firms. On January 18th, tomorrow, the COG staff will bring the recommendation to the governing board for the consulting services, and we invite any of you to be there tomorrow night. So the plans will be city-specific, addressing the unique needs, interests, and concerns of Baldwin Park, including strengthening interdepartmental coordination and accountability, improving alignment, coordination and quality of homeless services delivery and follow-up to clients, educating staff and community through engagement, leveraging existing resources and developing innovative approaches and opportunities to augment existing implemented programs, and also strengthening partnerships at a local and regional level. And that is something that the COG was really pushing forward. Homelessness can only be solved by connecting with people at a regional level to provide the best outcome for those in the greatest need. So the funding is for planning activities and is not programmatic, so it's just for the development of the plan. So effective plans will address sustainability, including identifying pockets of funding through Measure H, which can be accessed to support the ongoing efforts of the plan. At this point, I want to turn it over to Leticia to discuss the Measure H and county efforts.
I think we already kind of went over a little bit about Measure H. Measure H is primarily intended to provide services in partnering with cities. Our board also has directed us to enter into agreements with any jurisdiction that's doing permanent supportive housing or providing subsidies and ongoing support to cities and providing technical assistance. I am the liaison to the City of Baldwin Park as well as the San Gabriel Valley, and our team is committed to continuing that kind of support and partnership. The first year funding recommendations were approved by our board in June of this year, and we are going to be going through the planning process for years 2 and 3 as we move forward with Measure H implementation. And one of the things that our board did just recently adopted, and a board motion was in October. They are asking us to explore ways to be able to support the Council of Governments regional coordination, as well as helping cities to implement and maintain their plans as it coincides with the city strategy, the county strategies. So what we're trying to do is ensure that cities are developing plans that are kind of aligned with the regional approach, to ensure that no matter where somebody who's experiencing homelessness goes, they're receiving a similar kind of response, and that'll help, I think, any kind of movement of homelessness.
Okay.
And from the city's perspective, what we intend to do, and also thank both the Los Angeles County and the San Gabriel Valley COG in really joining efforts with cities across the LA County so that this could be a regional approach. We do notice that there's, the neighboring cities that do different approaches. So we really want to take an opportunity to engage in that process and become a best practice city that is not only, we tend to say dealing with homelessness, but really approaching it from a different pragmatic status and systematic approach so that our solutions will be beneficial to community members, residents, and the individuals that are experiencing this unfortunate circumstances for them. So what our plan looks like for the next, or what our next steps looks like in regards to city approaches is to, after the discussion tonight, we will schedule a Baldwin Park's initial conference call with the consultants. So if you have any additional information that we can bring back to the consultants to help us redevelop our plan, that would be greatly appreciated. And we also want to invite you guys, if you're available, to come out to the January 31st All Cities Kickoff meeting, which once again, everyone is welcome to attend. We do have representatives, my director, Manuel Carrillo, and myself who will be there, but I also wanted to bring attention to the other departments because this has really been a citywide effort with police department, community development, housing, public works, where we're all joining efforts in reaching this as a systematic approach with all departments involved, because we know that the complexity of this issue, and we know that together we will be able to accomplish this. And we invite you to come out and give us feedback and provide that support, and thank you for that support that so far you've provided. At the February 17th, which is the next City Council meeting, we will be presenting the official MOU with the COG partnership so that we can go ahead and, for your review and submission and hopefully approval and support. There will also be additional trainings and gatherings that will be more specific to the city needs, including demographics and subpopulation data that we will be using as a city to implement those succession plans for the homeless residents here in Baldwin Park. So we thank you for your time. And once again, if there's any questions, my director, Manuel Carrillo, myself, and we can always reach out to Los Angeles County and the San Gabriel COG. Thank you.
Just want to thank you all for doing a wonderful job. This is our city's best effort to try to address homelessness, and we really support all your efforts. I know throughout the last few months you've done a great job just trying to put this together, so we encourage your support, and we support all of you. Council members have any remarks or questions?
I have a question, if I may.
Yes,
just really
Councilwoman.
quickly, since we have an opportunity to advertise it and get people to participate, when is the homeless count coming up?
The homeless count will be coordinated in collaboration with LASHA next Tuesday, January 23rd, and it'll be beginning at 8:30. We have an orientation at the Family Service Center. So that will be our meeting location, and then groups will be dispersed throughout the city to coordinate the count. There is information on our website. It was also included in the BP Now, both English and Spanish. It can be accessed, and everyone is welcome to participate. We've had a variety of local organizations already who have pre-registered, but if any community member is interested in joining us, we will be there next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. at the Family Service Center.
And just really quickly, so it's hard for people to understand what that means. And what we do is we go out into the community in the middle of the night, and the goal is to figure out how many homeless individuals are out there so we can make sure that we at least know how many families, children, and the elderly, so we can plan ahead and make sure that everyone's taken care of. And so the way you can help is you come and join us, and you go out as well, and we start counting the homeless individuals out there so we can now bring back the numbers, and that's how we get funding in the future. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Mayor, Vice Mayor.
Yes, I'm sorry.
First of all, I'd like to thank Leticia, of course, and Eurico and Christian that have worked for probably like a year and a half before Measure H was even voted on to try to make this possible. And thank you so very much. I also want to note that for those of you, we go in our cars. We don't get out of our car in order to count. So it is safe. And it's something that I think is very interesting for a lot of people to understand where the encampments are and how they live and when they come out to form their encampments and so forth. So like Councilmember Rubio said, for those of you that would like, I guess I have to call it enlightenment to see how things really work out there, I would really suggest that you come out. And like I said, you can ride in the car as a passenger. No one gets out of the car. And we have help from our police officers that come out there and help us with some of the situations or telling us where some of the people are. So please come out. It's very, very important. And like we've discussed many times, this is not, and like you already mentioned, this is not an individualized problem. This is very regional. And like a lot of people have said, we share a lot of the transients between different cities locally, depending on who has the resources. So thank you very much for all your help.
Thank you,
All
Councilmember.
right, thank you, staff, and thank you, council members. As you know, homelessness, if you drive out throughout San Gabriel Valley or into Los Angeles, you see a lot of homeless. In Los Angeles City, you'll see a lot of homeless tents coming up and a lot of people that don't have a home, don't have food, and it's just throughout the state of California. And so we're trying to address those issues here in Baldwin Park. You'll even drive, and as the Councilwoman Cruz Baca and Susan Rubio said, you'll look around under our freeway bridges or our flood zone bridges. There are people that are homeless driving around and walking around and living in those areas. So we'll try to help them as much as we can. So thank you, staff, for that information and that report.
Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to also thank all of you for your efforts, and thank you for coming before us tonight to share the good work that you're engaged in. And I will certainly be there on January 31st. What time will that be?
23rd.
It'll be next Tuesday, January 23rd at 8:30 p.m.
Right, but the All Cities kickoff meeting is January 31st.
All cities, correct, January 31st, and they've moved it to 9 a.m., and it'll be part of council communications on Monday as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's important that, we certainly have representatives there to chime in on, the planning efforts. And in addition to the chronically homeless that we see on the street, I would also want to factor in those that are on the fringe of becoming homeless, and many of them are, families. Maybe they're living in a car, or they're living in somebody's, maybe they're sleeping on the couch or the garage or something like that. So it's beyond just chronically, which is obviously those are the most complicated cases. But how do we also prevent, families and individuals from becoming chronically homeless? And so I'd really like to just chime in right now, since I have the opportunity, and state that for the planning purposes. So, but I will be there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for your report. Our next item is a presentation by the Southern California Edison Representative Sal Ramirez to present an energy rebate check to the city of Baldwin Park. So if you could please.
The Mayor Pro Tem, if I could, while he comes up, I just wanted to point out too that this is part 2 and the second check the city's received. And just remind everybody, received a check at the end of last year for $167,000. So.
Very good. All right. Thank you, staff, for the hard work.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor and City Council, it's my honor to present on behalf of Southern California Edison another check for $130,000. You guys have saved over 700,000 kilowatts. So, great. So thank you to the city for participating in our programs and leveraging our great programs, and really appreciate you guys.
All right, Sal, if you don't mind coming forward, and we'll take a big picture with that wonderful check. Except that doesn't fit in the ATM, I think. So, I get a stand at the table or what?
Oh, you know what, hold on. Can we use this for the, this is non-restricted funds, right? We can use it to replace the marquee.
Or we should ask those digital.
Oh, they're right.
You know how to lock it?
Here.
I'm not gonna test. I'm not gonna test it.
Is that an iPhone?
Yes.
It is? It's, okay.
There's some.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's nice. A couple more.
Last one.
Thank you very much.
Yes, of course.
Hey, Manny. Give me a second. In the back of that paperwork. Send some information.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Step on the sister seat.
Okay, so our next, what do we have here? We did that. Okay, and I'd just like you all to know that Councilwoman Susan Rubio, myself, sat on a committee for energy savings, and if you go throughout the city, we're starting to put solar panels in and a lot of high-efficiency lighting and changing a lot of our air conditioning systems to more efficiency, so we could reduce the energy footprint within our community and do our part in saving energy. So this is all a part of that hard work that the whole city council and staff is doing to save energy within our community. So we're going to move on to public communications. You have 3 minutes of speaking time. Please follow all rules of decorum. No action. Please, at this time, you may address the city council. Please notify the city clerk if you are requiring any services or interpreters. No action may be taken on any matter unless it's listed on the agenda or unless certain emergency or special circumstances exist. The legislative body or its staff may briefly respond to statements made or questions asked by persons, direct staff to investigate and or schedule matters for considerations for future meetings at the city council's wishes. But also during public comment, this year, you don't want to just enforce some of the rules of decorum, but this is your opportunity to speak to any item under our jurisdiction and any items on the agenda. I ask that you refrain from any comments not under the city's jurisdiction or attacking personal council members or staff members. Thank you. Those that would like to proceed, come forward.
Good evening. Mayor.
Yes.
Pro Tem, council members. My name is Donald Griggs. I am the president of Westside Valley Water District Ratepayers Association, and I'm here with my best friend here, Hardy Brown, and his lovely wife, Cheryl. And I'm so glad to hear about Edison being here because that's one of the reasons we're here. I think some time back, I sent something to Mr. Yahtzee. This is a surprise, I know, but I'm Donald Griggs. And I asked you if you had a kinfolk by the name of Alan Yahtzee. And I understand that is your uncle. Well, I have a few things to say about Mr. Alan Yahtzee, and that's why Hardy, my best friend, and I are here.
Sir, those items are not, you cannot speak on items, you must speak on items on the agenda.
Oh,
You cannot speak. No, I'm sorry, but you're interrupting. I'm sorry, sir. You cannot, yes, sir. I'm going to ask you to leave because can you please remove that gentleman because he is speaking out of turn.
So I can't speak to Mr. Yahtzee on an award that his uncle is the reason that we're here, Mr. Yahtzee from Edison Company, that
You can only
tutored us
speak
and ministered to us for
you can only
years
speak
back.
on items that are in regard to this
I thought
jurisdiction.
it was public speaking. You could speak. You can't speak on anything.
You
That's not
must
how we
speak
run
only
our
on
business.
items that are either on the agenda or within the jurisdiction of the city. But those, you're talking about issues at West Valley which are not related to Baldwin Park.
Talking about the Edison Company.
No, he's not. He's talking about Mr. Yahtzee's uncle and other things that are not there.
That's right. He's our mentor, and I just wanted to give him an award to thank him and his family for
Oh,
what they've
okay.
done for us.
Sorry, misunderstood you.
You can't do that, though, huh?
But can I clarify something? We need to really look into those rules because, if that holds truth, then that means any resident that wants to come and speak about an issue, about a street or anything they need in their community, then they wouldn't be able to come and speak to us about it because it's not agendized. So I really would like
Okay.
to look at those rules in particular because I don't want to censor our community. Thank you, Mayor.
These are anything within our jurisdiction, so you can continue.
Can I speak?
Continue.
Excuse me.
No,
sir,
Councilwoman.
I just want to say
He
one
has-
thing real
He has
fast.
the floor right now,
I
so
know
I
he
want to
does.
allow him to speak.
But in regards to what you read, I want one more thing that I would like to add for legal counsel to look at is this in violation of the First Amendment for our residents or someone that wishes to come in and use their 3 minutes with something that's going on within our community or related to someone within our community. I would really like for you to look into that, please.
Thank you, Councilwoman. You may continue,
Okay.
sir.
May I continue?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Shannon, we'd just like to say your uncle, Alan Yahtzee, mentored us, Hardy and I, and promoted myself, Don, to the first African-American to the district office management in Southern Cal Edison Company. And Hardy was the first African-American meter reader for Southern Cal Edison Company, as well as Cal Electric Company, which Edison purchased back in the 60s when Hardy and I were both working there. Alan also helped us get involved with scouting in conjunction with the Eastern Division Manager, Oliver Romer. We want to say hello to you and pass on to you and your family our thanks for him believing in us during a time period that it was not the law to do the right thing for Black Americans. I know it was not easy for him to stand up and defend what he knew was right and just. As we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, we remember Alan, what he did before it was popular to do. He will always have a special memory in the Brown and the Griggs families. There's 2 articles I want to pass on to you, and it's on scouting, that were made possible by your uncle, one from Edison and the other from a local newspaper printed in 1969. And that's all we wanted to say. I wanted to thank you and have your family. I know he has a sibling. I think Eric was one, and a grandson and a son, Kirk, I believe it was. And we knew Alan. He was a mentor for both of us back when we were kids, 20-something years old, trying to get ahead in Edison Company. And we both still have stock in Edison. Glad they were here today. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank, if you would please, thank you and your family for what you did for us as 2 young men that tried to get ahead back in the 60s when people of color were having a difficult time. And Alan was a man that was way ahead of his time. And we had never had the chance to thank him because we left Edison at the early times. Hardy went on to be a big-time manager with Kaiser, and I went on to be an entrepreneur of my own. But we never had a chance to thank the family, and this is the first opportunity we had to see a Yahtzee since then. And we just wanted to come here and give our thanks. That's all we're here for.
Thank you. I want to thank you
Thank
so
you,
very
sir.
much for that beautiful thank you, and for bringing to us and our attention what it's been like for people of color to go up the ladder. And thank you so very much for recognizing that, sir, especially at this time when we just celebrated Martin Luther King, and a lot of people remember the march and so forth. But I just want to thank you and apologize that you had to wait in order to say such a beautiful speech. Thank you so very much.
I thank you for the
I would like to also say a few words, if I may. Thank you so very much. Of course, these are important stories to hear because everyone knows I'm an educator, and we try to very much continue to remind our students, our youth, that there's still a lot of work to be done in those areas, and so your story is very compelling. Thank you, Mr. Gray. Mr. Brown, for your presence here. You're always welcome, but I also want to recognize Ms. Cheryl Brown. Just so you guys know, she used to be a former assemblywoman, and I believe, you know, she's also left a mark in San Bernardino, so thank you for coming. I appreciate your presence.
Yeah, I just want to add as well that I want to thank you very much for being here. I mean, today, especially as you mentioned Dr. Martin Luther King, and when you look at what's happening in the country right now at the White House, unfortunately, I just want to commend both of you because you are a part of a history that unfortunately was never interpreted as we went on through school as well. But so on behalf of the City of Baldwin Park, I want to thank you very much for taking the opportunity to recognize, and also our Chief Executive Officer, I'm not certain if your grandfather, is he still living? My uncle. Your uncle, is he still living? Oh, he's passed. And commend an individual that obviously, stood up and gave you an opportunity that you well deserved. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to actually take a moment before you walk away. Let's have a picture taken with Shannon.
Yes.
And if you can hang on just 1 second.
Oh, that's right.
And get a photo here.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, any other speakers?
This clicker?
Okay, your timer is set for 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, public, and employees. Mine shouldn't even take longer than 1 minute. On consent calendar, so I guess this time, which is something new to me and I think to all of us in the public, that we cannot be speaking on items that are only in the consent calendar. We have 3 minutes on anything we speak, as far as I know, and I'm concerned about that request. First of all, item number 6. I'm against this item where you're requesting equal designated number of men and women. I would like to see, first of all, I don't think you can do that because you have 5-member commissions in every board. Are you going to have 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5? Or are you going to change the laws or regulations? Are we going to alternate mayors every year, every 6 months, every 2 years? Because you have to have a male one time and a female the other one. So I think you need to look at that a little bit closer. You need to make changes before you even accept this, because I don't think it can be done or it's not possible based on what you guys have today in place. I believe we should appoint the best, regardless of sex. I'm not a sexist by any means, but I do believe in the appointment based on their credentials and their qualifications. So I thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Well, Mayor, since that's my item, I would like to explain it a little later when we go to consent calendar. Thank you.
We thank you. Any other speakers?
Good evening. My name is Veronica. I'm with Assemblywoman Blanca Rubio. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Mayor Lozano, Vice Mayor Pacheco, Council Members Cruz Baca, Mike Garcia, and Susan Rubio, members of the staff and audience and from the community. Happy New Year. I just want to say, wish Christy farewell and congratulations and good wishes and for your next journey. Congratulations to Mr. Jorge and Maria Hernandez for being crowned King and Queen. And I just want to say, again, Happy New Year, and that our office looks forward to continue a good relationship between the city and bringing good things into the community. I was in last night, I was at the community center for the final stage of the Walnut Creek Nature Park, and it's coming along very well, and I look forward to going to and spending some time there as well. So again, Happy New Year, and we look forward to continued relationship with the city. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, staff, residents of Baldwin Park. My name is Cristina Larios. I'm the library manager here at the Baldwin Park Library. I just wanted to speak to you about 3 of our upcoming programs and invite everybody to attend. On Wednesday, January 24th, we have a special program for children. We're going to have Mr. Richard Wade come and speak about volcanoes, and all children in attendance will be able to receive a real piece of lava. So the kids have been seeing this flyer at the library. They're very excited. On Saturday, January 27th, in the Wednesday program, January 24th is at 3 p.m. for the volcanoes. And on Saturday, January 27th, we're very lucky to have a chef, Marco Zapian. He's cooked for the Dodgers, for the Pope, for many celebrities. He'll be at our library to teach you easy-to-make recipes, Super Bowl appetizers. That's Saturday, January 27th at 2 p.m. So I hope you all can make it. And I wanted to let everybody know and make sure that they're aware, on Saturday, February 3rd, we will have a program called VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. You can file your income tax return for free. The program is free tax help to people who make $54,000 or less, persons with disabilities, and limited English-speaking taxpayers who need assistance in preparing their own tax returns. These are volunteers that are IRS certified from Cal Poly Pomona, and they will be at our library. Assistance will be provided on a first-come, first-served basis from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, February 3rd, and also again Saturday, April 7th. Thank you, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other persons wishing to speak?
Good evening. Good evening. This is Edmundo. I'm a resident of Baldwin Park. I discovered that through the newspaper that the city is allowing 15 licenses for cultivation and manufacturing of cannabis, adult use. My concern is that, is there any more licenses going to be released from the city? And if when is that discussion going to be opened up to the residents of Baldwin Park? My other question is, do the council members have any idea of how they're going to use the funds generated from the taxes of those sales? And is there any preference for the applicants that come into the city? Is there any preference for the residents of Baldwin Park to participate in those licenses? I don't know if I will receive any responses from you right now, or is it just comment from me?
Right now, it's just your 3 minutes, but we can respond. Any council member at the end of this session, then we'll respond possibly.
Okay. But I commend you guys for taking the lead in the San Gabriel Valley for showing the rest of the cities, surrounding cities, in taking the lead in showing that Baldwin Park could do this right, because I do believe in the benefits of medical marijuana, cannabis. So again, I commend you guys, and I hope that future licenses will be open. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to speak?
John Rios, resident. Just like the gentleman that was just talking about getting the licenses and everything, one of the things we have to do first is let's hire all the police force first. You know, we're 8 10 officers down, chief. More than that, okay? You know, if we're going to be doing that, just look at what happened at Bassett 2 weeks ago. They went in there, they robbed that gentleman that was running the outfit, and they took, you know, I don't know how many pounds of marijuana they took. But we have to look at our police force first, you know. I know they're running short, you know. And another thing is on this contract that we're putting down for the main street for that bike aisle and make it a two-way street. It already happened during the Vargas years, and we had to knock everything down because it wasn't working, okay? You told me yesterday that construction is supposed to start in March. We need to have some more meetings on that for the community to be aware of what's really happening. Not only the community, but the businesses in that area. Okay? And one of the things that I told you yesterday, and I've been telling you guys for the past year about Walnut Creek, you guys have to go look at it. The gentlemen that were last night, they went over there this morning. I met with them. I saw them there. We talked, and they agree for a lot of things, okay? So that's one of the things you guys have to get the community involved. You guys are not getting the community involved. It's like those solar panels that they put over at the main departments, they're not working. Who's going to be in charge of funding the city, or what? The contractor put a subcontractor into it. You know, whose idea was that? If you get a contract, you're supposed to do the work, not get subcontractors. Okay? That's one of the things you, as a city, we're not doing. It's like doing all this license and everything. All that process should have been done at City Hall, not at the lawyer's office. Okay? And I think Chan needs to get more involved into that whole situation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Rios. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good evening. My name is John Garcia. Good evening, council members, mayor. Since they were talking about the homeless, I just wanted to know if they have any program for the homeless, because I know several people that, well, I went to high school and I've been a long-time resident. But anyways, I was just concerned about some of the residents, about the homeless. But also, I wanted to talk, or should I say, I wanted to present to you guys that over here on Sparlin and Foster Avenue, across from the high school, there's a tree that's leaning, in fact, so much so that it's leaning against the sign. And so it's a danger, so I wanted to bring it to your attention so maybe they can take care of it before somebody gets injured. So that's basically it. I want to know more information about the homeless. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Get the address. I'm trying to get the address.
Greg Tuttle, business owner. Well, I guess our pro temp mayor doesn't understand First Amendment rights, but city's already learned it the hard way the first time. So you want to learn it again, you keep it up. Now, going on to the city attorney and city manager violated city policy by not establishing first the growers where they'll be growing and sending out public notice. Nobody was ever sent out a public notice. You guys can send out a public notice for a developer, or you can send out a public notice for somebody putting in a cell tower, but you can't put out and notify the residents that they're going to have weed growers right around their area. I know what you did, and I know it was done quickly, and I know it was done illegally. Just like when we had not Rome in here, but we had Bisno in here, and the mayor sent out all the stuff in English. Make sure when you send these notices out that they go in Spanish and English, because you guys illegally did this. And it's going to be proven in court too. And these weed growers that are out here, they're still going to be on hold when this gets done. The other thing is, these buildings that the weed growers are in, nobody knows if they're going to stay there. And the ones that are staying there, they're already building without permits. One of the big deals here, the city was going to make money. We're not making any money if they don't get city permits here. This is wrong. And they're all buddies of Pacheco that are getting this. Yeah, you smile. Okay, the other thing is, I want to let everybody know on the council, so it's public information. I will be going to the conference this year again in Santa Barbara. So if you guys are scared, make sure you bring security guards with you so that you don't have to file another restraining order and lose $52,000 of the city's money to file a false restraining order on me. So that's on notice. Also, we found out that Monica got a big donation from Sid Masavi for a vote that's going to come up tonight for Sid Masavi's contract. We also found out that Monica got 2 big donations from a weed grower at her latest campaign for running for Senate. I certainly hope that you understand they take a drug test and an IQ test, because you're not going to pass any one of those. Then we got, the only reason she's going in there is for vote blocking. And it's because she likes Judy Chu, and she's going to do it for Judy Chu's husband. And she's going to sit there and take all that money and put it into her campaign donations, just like she did on the state assembly race when she did that. And the Sid Masavi deal, you guys keep going on and on and on. Mr. Pacheco gets cash money in envelopes, which I personally have sawn at his campaign fundraisers. Sorry about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Tuttle. Appreciate your comments. Thomas.
Well, I know you said about the agenda, but I don't. Anyway.
Go ahead, sir. Just, I'll let you know.
Well, this has to do with the news and all this so-called sexual harassment they're talking about these days. You'd swear that a woman never sexually harassed a man. To hear it on the news, you know, the fake news that's out there. We know this isn't the case. And what about the women that have, straight women who tried to turn gay men straight? That's sexual harassment too. I'm still waiting for that shoe to drop. And I'm waiting to see when it'll be the first woman or first man that comes forward and says a woman sexually harassed him and coerced him into buying things for her and things. That's harassment too. So you're really opening Pandora's box with this one. But it just goes on and on. The media and all that is so one-sided, and it's negative to the police. The police can't seem to do anything right, and we know that they have a hard job. And the media is making it harder and more dangerous for them. The criminals are in jail. They should be getting training while they're in there how to interact with the police and authorities. Rather than sitting there taking their time plotting against the rest of us, becoming porch poachers and other types of things, stealing us blind. And the police, and nobody's supposed to do anything to them. As for these homeless people, half of those people that are there by choice. I know that the foster care system, they're trying to address that they're not aging them out of foster care out onto the street. I don't know how or why that's been going on for 40 years or more. I'm all for protecting the youth from ending up out on the street and ending up being prostitutes, male or female. Men prostitute too. It isn't just women or young people. It's anybody. But this thing with the homeless, they've interviewed them close to where I lived in San Bernardino. And they asked them if they'd move into housing, and they said no, and they asked them why. Because they have rules there. They won't move into the housing because they have rules. Half those people don't want rules. They want to step on everybody else's rights and cry when they don't want them around. They bother people for money. They give them a phone, they give them a computer, they give them every damn thing there is, and they still want more. And if you the more you cater to them, the more of them you're going to have. All you do is look at LA or over in San Bernardino. Go up to 40th Street and Waterman to the area there where the DJ's restaurant is. You really want to park your car there? You may not have much in that car when you come out of there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
I'm Margarita Vargas. I just want to mention the same thing that Director Contreras said about the number of men and women in the commissions. Number 14, you're getting the Housing Commission, there's 7. So like he said, I don't know how you're going to do equal number. And I think there's discrimination because you cannot do that, point people, and ask about sex, religion, all the things that says in there. So I don't think you can do that. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hi everyone, my name is Daisy Cruz, and I wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. And I'm here to address the council, but also any other residents that are here tonight. I've been a resident in Baldwin Park since as far as I can remember, and recently returned from my studies at UC Irvine in environmental science and sociology. And I'm here because I'm concerned about the level of pollution in the city of Baldwin Park, and wanted to know what steps the city was taking. And by the check that Edison has brought over, I commend you for stepping up and doing some of that work already. And just wanted to talk about the organization that I currently am working with. It's a nonprofit organization that installs solar systems for low-income qualified families at absolutely no cost. It is fully funded by the state of California, and this can be a resource for many families, and we aim to lower an energy bill 50 to 90% for each family, as they are each customly designed based on their usage. And so this is a resource that I hope families can use and the city can tap into, because it doesn't cost anything. And still like to know what other steps are being taken in the future to address the environmental pollution aside from the energy, and hope that I can set up some time to meet with each of you and speak about this particular resource. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Hello, everyone. My name is Manuel Suarez Jr. I was born in Baldwin Park. My parents lived in Baldwin Park when I was born. Let me rephrase that. Okay, so I'm a product of Baldwin Park. You know, I don't know if you guys understand that, really understand that, because I don't know how many of you were here. My mom was an educator at the Baldwin Park Unified School District for 31 years. I never knew who I was going to thank and who I was going to be standing in front of, but I knew one day in my life I was going to be standing somewhere, just thank somebody for the opportunity that my mother had to have a 31-year career. That means a lot to me. I don't know how, for me it means a lot. Education is everything. In order to understand and play the game by the rules, you have to know the rules. So, just wanted to come up here and say thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. And I commend your mother for doing 31 years at the Baldwin Park School District.
Muy buenas noches.
Would you like to?
Del Senado, señor Manuel Lozano, Rubio, Pacheco.
¿Gustará alguien que te interprete en inglés? O?
¿Qué pasó?
¿Gustarás alguien que te ayude a interpretar en inglés?
Necesita un intérprete. Ahorita le van a ir a interpretar.
Perdón. Puedo saludar a todos los señores que los conozco de varios años y quería recordarles que yo vengo año con año pidiendo die right.
Well, I want to say hello to every single one of you that I've known for many years and remind you that I come every year to ask for Dial-A-Ride?
Soy handicap y me han obligado en el senior que yo debo de pagar un mes antes mi boleto o mi ticket para poder viajar, siempre y cuando tengan el bus adecuado donde puedo usar la rampa.
I'm handicapped, and they have, at the senior center, they have told me that I have to pay my ticket a month in advance in order for me to be able to ride a bus with a handicap rep.
And then, quisiera que me ayuden, por favor. Ya estoy cansada. No quiero estarlo siguiendo, pidiendo favor, favor. Ya, de veras, ya me cansé. Y ahora sí quisiera llorar, hincármeles, si es posible, para que yo pueda agarrar para mis seniors, a mis viejitos, un transporte decente y que tengamos un driver extra, porque cuando falta uno hace todo el recorrido. Llegamos 2 horas tarde.
I want to say that I'm tired of asking and begging. I'm asking that you provide these services for the seniors, that you provide at least one more bus. I'm so tired, I want to cry. When you provide only one bus, it takes 2 hours to get to wherever we're going.
Ahora quiero saber si me van a ayudar o qué tengo que hacer.
I want to know if you will help me, or what do I need to do for you to help me?
Okay, we'll have Manny Carrillo, if you could get information and find out what the issues are with the transportation.
El día que tuve que ir a un viaje,
I'm sorry, okay, Sam will do it.
que no había bus, yo no puedo subir escaleras. Estuve 3 días enferma en mi casa y nadie me habló para decir cómo estaba. Nada más me dieron una excusa que no era culpa de ellos.
There was a day that she had to go somewhere and there wasn't a bus because she can't climb the stairs. She was sick for 3 days, and then nobody even bothered to check on her to see what was going on. They just simply said it wasn't their fault.
Oh,
Porque he estado hablando con Carrillo, García, Pacheco, Manuel, con todos los
I've talked to
representantes
Carrillo,
que me
Pacheco, Manuel, to all the representatives.
Okay, we will have some staff, maybe Sam, if you can get our information, because Sam's in charge of the transportation. And if you could also look into the number of bus drivers and why there's bus drivers missing when she's asking for service, we look into that.
Absolutely, we'll look into the services.
And we'll also look into the
To the
fees.
fees,
We'll
please.
bring that back to City Council on the fees.
Yeah.
May I add a little to that, only because, and I know that we're offering information, but I think we're beyond information, and I have to share that I sat with a group of seniors prior to the holiday, and she's not the only one with that concern. It was a group of, I would say, 8 to 10 people that sat with me, and it's been an ongoing issue, especially, you know how they're elderly and they have a hard time getting around, but I believe they've been given information for the past 2-3 years, and I think we're beyond that. I would like to have some kind of meeting where we can invite the seniors to share their concern. Most of them expressed not wanting to share anymore because they've been asking for a long time and they feel that we're not listening. So I want to take it a little further. I want a meeting where we can all sit down and really, if it's not Dial-A-Ride, then we as a city need to figure out how to transport these seniors. It's very important. And they were really sad about the fact that we're not being responsive. And I know we are, but to them that they're trying to get around, it seems like we're not. So I want to really make sure that we take it a little further than information and take care of them. Thank you, Mayor.
She just added that it's unfair that she needs to schedule her bus ride a month in advance. If for one reason or another she needs to cancel, they keep her $30.
Okay, we'll have staff look into that and find out why that's being done. So if you could do that. And also, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Vaca, you had a question?
Yes, just one more thing real fast is because I believe that I have either called you, Manny Carrillo, or I don't think I've ever spoken to you, Sam, in the past. But during the summer, I get a lot of calls from the seniors that are leaving the adult school, and it's very hot. And I even get calls from Denise Tornatore, that is the one of the supervisors there. where they're outside waiting in the heat, and someone has to give them a ride because the dial-a-ride never shows up, and it is dial-a-ride. I've asked, is it our shuttle, is it the Teal line or whatever? No, it's dial-a-ride that is not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. So could you please check with that, because whatever stop they make at the adult school, it's not consistent.
Absolutely. So I've heard the concerns, and we will be addressing them as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Mayor,
Anybody? I'm sorry.
I'd like to
Councilwoman.
also chime in. I mean, this is a basic service that we need to provide our seniors. I've seen seniors crossing the streets, and barely making it with the lights. So transportation is so important. It's for their safety, and it's just a basic necessity. So please, let's get on that and make sure that service is top notch. We have such excellent senior programs here in the community, and transportation needs to be right there with them. And, our Rec and Parks program does a wonderful, wonderful job. So please coordinate with them, because that's also essential to making this successful. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes.
I just want to also, let's find out when their contract's up or whatever it is. Let's bring him in, let's talk, and if it doesn't work, then we're going to move on.
Also, one more thing that I would like to, because I do hear it from some of the seniors that live off of Puente in those mobile homes. There could be some type of a service when they call it in because they have a doctor's appointment, and many of them have their doctor's appointments way in advance. Instead of them telling them we can't be there at a specific time, or could you call for another appointment? These are some of the comments that I'm hearing, and this isn't right to put our seniors through something like that. I mean, it even got to the point where one of the ladies asked me what Uber was. Apparently, when they called, they told them, why don't you Uber?
Oh, okay. I will set up a meeting with the operator, and we'll discuss those options. And we are going to be entering negotiations for the next contract, so we'll talk to them about that as well. So,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. Anybody else coming up to speak?
So today I want to speak about something that I think concerns not just the people who are sitting in this diocese, but everyone in this community. As elected officials, you are chosen with the belief that you'll be only swayed by the will of the voters and stand strong against those who wish to only profit from the backs of citizens. Over the course of several years, this council has made certain decisions that have led many in our community to question the commitment our elected officials have made to defend these values. It has come to the attention of many concerned residents that we are no longer being represented. Instead, many in this council are representing the interests of their donors. Baldwin Park is not a very wealthy community, and because of this, families do not have the disposable income to make donations to candidates they prefer. We cannot be making donations in the hundreds or thousands of dollars that businesses like Royal Coaches can make not just to one candidate, but multiple candidates. Many people in Baldwin Park are struggling to get their kids the best education they can. They are struggling to make ends meet because they are living paycheck to paycheck. Just because they cannot donate to your campaigns does not mean they should be forgotten. It does not mean that you can use their tax dollars to give lucrative contracts to companies who only care about their bottom line. If the 2016 elections proved anything, it is that Americans are becoming more and more tired of politics as usual. They are tired of politicians who say they will make their community safer, yet do not invest in more police officers. They are tired of politicians who say they care about their families, yet housing becomes more expensive because of land deals that only benefit real estate developers. They are tired of politicians who say they stand up against powerful individuals like Trump, yet do not fight for actual legislation that could prove their commitment to fighting against such individuals. I understand that we are a city with relatively small budgets, but I know that this council could be doing so much more for this community if only they would ignore their donors. We could have a city that fights for rent control, that fights for getting our kids to college, that fights for not only better paying jobs, but for jobs that treat our workers with dignity and respect. We can have a city that proves that people are valued so much more than just money. I would like to propose a solution that can help reignite trust in all elected and non-elected officials. First, stop taking political contributions from businesses who only wish to profit from the taxpayers. They want to see that you are choosing contracts based on merit alone. Finally, have the courage to stop corruptive influences in our government, such as the deal that occurred between our newly appointed police chief and city attorney. For this reason, I urge the city council to remove Mr. Tafoya and Mr. Taylor as well. I challenge you to listen to the people of Baldwin Park. The issues have been exacerbated by President Trump, the issues that have plagued this city because of an economy that favors the 1%. And I urge you, listen to us, not to big business. Because I, Manuel Penate, will do my part to defend my city and stand up here as long as I need to support my community and my family and my friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, so I'm going to close, there's nobody else. I'm going to close the public communications. Any council members wishing to respond to any of the speakers?
Well, I don't wish to respond, but I want to make a comment, only because we have the seniors here, and that's another pressing issue that they brought up to me. We have one of the best, I believe, senior centers there is. We get people from La Puente and every area from the San Gabriel Valley. However, it's been brought up to my attention that some of the seniors are asked to pay a certain amount of money to go to these events, and they were sharing that there's a few that don't make it because they're either embarrassed that they cannot pay for the meal or the potluck or whatever the celebration is. And I know that Irma does such a great job of fundraising for these events all year long, and we do what we can with the senior prom and everything else. And so I want to explore the possibility of having a separate account for seniors. And the reason I think that it would be ideal to have it separately is that, you know, we do have a lot of businesses that want to be good partners to the City of Baldwin Park and have offered their services and monies for programs. And I think it's a great opportunity that we have a lot of new businesses coming into the community that we could encourage them to donate to the senior fund, and that would take care of a lot of these programs that some of the seniors cannot attend. I think it was, you know, it was heartbreaking to know that a few stayed home because they couldn't afford the fee to that celebration. And so I would like to explore a separate account, and every time we fundraise, then we can push for the senior programs to be sponsored rather than having the seniors pay for it themselves. And I would like to see it in the next council meeting, if I may. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Baca?
I think that's a great idea, but I also want to bring to the attention that there have been many times when we've had events. One in particular that brings to mind is one of the fashion shows that you had before the prom. And there were two ladies that couldn't afford the shoes to go with the dress, because apparently whoever comes to the fashion show supplies the clothing. And at that time, I believe that staff did come forward and buy them the shoes so that they could wear them during the fashion show. So I think that sometimes we just need to speak up, even if we're embarrassed. And I know that a lot, especially being a senior and feeling that you're being left out, but I think that the fund will work. I think it's fantastic, but we also have to get them to speak up and let either staff know or someone know. I would love to go to this, but I don't have the funds, or I have part of the money right now, and what can you do to help me, because I'd like to have fun with everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councilwoman Monica
Yes,
Garcia.
Mayor, thank you. You know, I just have to say that we're dealing with a lot of, you know, reports and just a lot of people coming out talking about sexual harassment and the Me Too, you know, moments. And I just have to say that, you know, as we heard earlier, there's somebody that has certainly harassed me for at least 10 years that I've been on the city council. And I did try to get a restraining order against this person. However, because we are public officials, there is a higher threshold for what we are entitled to as far as our privacy. Can you hear me?
No, I think you need to speak closer.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah, the mic went out.
Okay. Do you want to use this one for the meantime?
Yes, please. But I do feel compelled that, you know, here on the city council, Yes, I am a public figure, but I'm entitled to protection from harassment as well. And just like the many women who have come forward, I want to also come forward and say, you know, this person has harassed me for a number of years and has actually been empowered by individuals, you know, unfortunately. But there is something that I want to share for those of you who may be here for the first time and don't know a whole lot about me. I grew up in this community. I went to preschool, elementary, junior high, high school. Like Mr. Suarez, my mother was also part of the Baldwin Park Unified School District, as many of my family members. And, you know, my roots are in this community. I care deeply for this community. So when somebody comes up to harass me, I just want you to be aware that I fully respect freedom of speech. I've had family members, including both of my grandfathers, serve for this country. And so I would be the first to stand up for freedom of speech. But I think it's also important to set the record straight and for you to hear from me, you know, just my experience and the realities of what we deal with here as we serve this community. And so my reality has been I've been harassed for a number of years. I tried to seek a restraining order, and because I'm a public official, I was not able to do that. However, this person who spoke earlier, his ex-wife was successful in getting a restraining order. And I'd like to take the opportunity to share some of her thoughts and what she put in this restraining order when she sought that out. And she says, I am seeking this order on an ex parte application based on the fact that the respondent has caused physical harm to our daughter and is mentally abusing both of us to the point we are in fear of our lives. And so this person did get a restraining order. And so there are some legitimate concerns there. And I just wanted to share that with those of you who may be attending for the first time and listening and not sure, you know, who is who and what is what. But just hearing from me personally, and thank you for taking the time.
Any other council members wanting to add anything?
Let me just, real quick, as mentioned by the gentleman up here, 31 years of your Suarez. Your mom commended her for that as one. And want to also close on behalf of Michael Stevens, 39 years at the Ballpark Unified School District Adult School, who passed about a week and a half ago. I attended his funeral this past Friday, and he will always be remembered. He was an icon at the adult school, and just want to make sure that we close on his behalf as well. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Any other council members?
Oh,
good. We're all good? Okay. Yeah, I just want to make a couple comments. I know that individuals will come here and make accusations and of corruption and wrongdoings and so forth. And I think it's important that those that make those comments probably don't live in the city of Baldwin Park or partake in the city of Baldwin Park. If you go to our Park and Recreations Department, it is a state-recognized program. We have hundreds of kids that go there to those parks and participate in all the wonderful programs that we have there. And thanks to our great staff doing such a good job, if you go visit those parks, there's always programs that are going on. If you look at our Public Works program, you know, Mr. Sam, our director here, has done a great project with improving the landscaping. If you drive down Ramona Boulevard, you would have noticed all the new landscaping, all the irrigation systems, and all the wonderful jobs that we have there. We have one of the best legal departments in the city. Our legal department happens to fight a lot of the litigation that we stop it. There's an individual that will speak here in the city, at this city, and that individual has personally sued the city for frivolous lawsuits, costing this city thousands of dollars to defend, and it is ridiculous. This is a man that says he's here for freedom of speech, but I believe he's here for freedom of hate. And the reason is I will show you an email that he sent to me where he puts these signs up around the community about me. And on New Year's Day, he sent me a picture of that sign with him standing next to it, giving me the middle finger. Now, that is called hate speech. Now, I reported that to the authorities, and they're doing an investigation on that. Because, among other things, we also took him, Councilmember Monica Garcia has said, and Mayor Lozano, we took him to get a restraining order because of just, you know, I don't even want to sit here and tell you of all the hateful things that he did to us and why. And now he wants to chase us down again to Santa Barbara and do whatever harassment that he did like he did the last time. Okay, that's wrong. Now I want you to know something though, and he's ashamed to even say this. I won him in court. We went to court because he sued us. He sued me, he sued my wife, he sued Monica Garcia and Mayor Lozano for so-called, that we took pictures of him and it was his freedom right. He lost that. He lost that. That's why he's embarrassed sitting there with his tail behind his rear end, because he gets defeated in a lot of these lawsuits. And it costs you residents that come here and some of you complain about things. That's where a lot of our money goes, to the lawsuit. I mean, it's to a tune. There are public information requests. Aside from the lawsuits, public information requests that this individual puts to put our police officers that could be out on the street, to put public works staff and our Parks and Recreation staff spend countless of hours finding receipts that go back 10 or 20 years and find nothing. And we'll put this information together because we have to and spend thousands of hours looking those through. Our attorney's office has to spend thousands of hours verifying that all the information is correct. That information is then provided and they don't show up for that, although we spent thousands of dollars. And there's staff reports that indicate that. So I think, you know, those that come here, make sure you're informed. Make sure you drive around the city of Baldwin Park. Take a good look around. The people of this community are very supportive and very happy with a lot of the progress that has been done throughout the city. Look at, you know, all the new industry that's coming in. You know, you have LA Fitness. You have, you know, they brought in Chipotle and other stores that did not want to come here 10 or 20 years ago. Those mainstream businesses would never have paid attention here to Baldwin Park, but because of the good work of this city council and its staff and the contractors that we hire, you see a lot of progress. And unless you just shut your eyes and drive in and out of Baldwin Park, like I think some people do here, you know, you're not going to see all that progress. The cannabis business, we did a lot of work. There's a lot of outreach that went out. There was about 2 years worth of outreach that we did. We contacted people. We went to the schools. We notified people. We put it in our city newspaper. We had workshops continuously. Now, it wasn't well attended, but we did put out the information and we talked to people. We invited cannabis experts to talk about their product and what it is that it's doing. So, you know, so those of you that say there was no information put out, no, there was definitely public record that we had done that. So, okay, so thank you. Let's move on now to our next item. We're going to move to consent calendars. We have 1 through...
I want to pull 6.
1 through 9. Councilwoman Susan Rubio will pull item 6.
I would like to pull item 5 and 9.
Okay, we're pulling items 6, 5, and 9. Anybody else? Okay, item number 10 is off the calendar.
Item number 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's not a consent item, but. Okay, so I would move approval for all items 1 through 9 with the exception of item numbers 6, 5, and 9.
I second.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to item number 6, Susan Rubio. If you would
There was
read
a
the
5.
item.
5 before me.
Was it 5? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Councilman Baca, you've got item number 5. If you'd like to read it and then speak on the item.
Item number 5 is accept and authorize the filing of a notice of completion for the city project number 2017 through 0189, which is the bus stop improvement project, phase 1. I just pulled it because I have to thank staff for doing that. I remember when I first came on as a council member, that's one of the things that I brought to the attention, that I would see people, especially in the summertime or when it rained, the little rain that we have out there with no real shelters. So they look beautiful. Look forward to seeing those big new trash cans. But thank you so very much. So I move that we go ahead and approve item 5.
I second it. Any objections? So moved. And there goes again, you know, more projects that we're bringing here to the city of Baldwin Park with Public Works, building more shelters, bus shelters. Thank you, staff. Item number, that was 6. 5. 6. Item number 6, Councilwoman Rubio.
Yes, this is the item that I believe Mr. Contreras and Margarita Vargas were speaking about in regards to opposing the item. This is a resolution that I proposed the last council meeting, and so I'll read the resolution so everyone knows exactly what we're talking about. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park designating an equal number of men and women be required to be seated on all city boards and commissions. And I think from what I understand, from what I heard from Al Contreras, I think there's a misunderstanding that it's for elected office, and this is not elected office. These are only commissions that are selected by the council. All the elected positions will always be selected by our residents, of course. And I know that there's concerns about qualifications. Of course, the qualifications will always be first and foremost in the selection process. And there is a provision here that states that we just want to encourage more women to want to be part of the process and participate at a time when we have such a disparity when it comes to wage and positions in boardrooms. This was an opportunity that I thought needs to start at the local level to try and bring parity to cities. These are commissions like the Housing, Parks and Recs, and other commissions where I think that women most often don't apply because they don't think they can compete with men. And once again, they still need to be qualified individuals. But there is a provision that states that if we do not have enough qualified applicants, female, then at that point, we would fill all the positions with the qualified men, but that's just giving the opportunity for women to participate. And when I think we also discussed the 50-50. What it is, at one time, I think 2 people are selected and then 3, so it's always off. So we have in this resolution where 1 year it would be majority men, and then another time it would be majority women to make it even. And once again, it's not for elected office, and we still want to have qualified individuals take these positions. And the reason this came about is I've been elected as a delegate to the California Democratic Party for 12 years, and in particular, because they want to make sure that all views are expressed, they have 7 women elected and 7 men, and it's always been that way. It's non-negotiable. And I just thought it's a great way to invite everyone to participate in the process. In this case, it is negotiable. If we do not have enough qualified women, then men are welcome to take those positions. But for me, it was important to express how I think that parity starts with us at local level, and anyone's welcome to participate. And I hope that I answered your question, Mr. Contreras and Margarita Vargas. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, I'd like to just say that what I've heard from women, and let me just say that before I was elected to the City Council, I was the chair of the Planning Commission, and I was on a mostly majority, a board with the majority being women. And so I think that this city has done a good job of looking at women and men who are qualified for these positions. So, you know, of course, I support the idea because it's something that I think that we've always been cognizant of over the years, at least that since I've been involved. But I also want to say that when I speak with women in the community, a lot of them are hesitant to take public offices and positions because of the attacks that they've seen, not only here in this council, but you know, in other places. And so that's really been a recurring theme when I speak with women and I'm trying to encourage them to apply for a commission position. They really hold back because they think, well, how is this going to affect my family? How is this if, you know, somebody comes out and starts attacking me and is negative toward me? So I think what would be more meaningful in encouraging women to take these type of posts is for you, Councilmember Rubio, to speak up when you see somebody harassing women on this dais. Speak up and discourage that type of behavior. Because the more that we can do that, I think the more empowered, you know, women will feel in taking these types of positions. So that would be more meaningful. But of course, you know, I will support this because I think it's something that we've always supported in spirit. So that's my motion. That's my second.
Make a comment, if I may. I'm going to disregard that comment because it has nothing to do with bringing parity to women. We need to start here locally to encourage other cities to follow. Everyone in every community has, we all call them gap flies that come and express their views. And that's something we cannot control. But for me, having the opportunity to encourage more women to apply, that is very important. So one thing had nothing to do with the other. Thank you, Mayor.
I have a comment, Vice Mayor. I support this. I do. And I understand that we need to bring more women forward to come into the commissions. However, I have to disagree. I have heard when the applications come out, just as many men as women that say that they don't want to sit on the commissions because they don't want to be harassed. It's not just one-sided here. People as a whole in our residents see what happens on the dais, and they don't want to be involved in any of that, whether it's a commission or whatever it is. They don't want to get involved because they don't want to live through that. And I have to make a comment. If anybody has defended anything that has gone on the dais when someone is being harassed without getting into any long discussion, it has been Councilmember Rubio. Rubio has been very vocal about defending the rights of women on the dais and off the dais. So thank you.
Okay, any other council members? Okay, so I guess that item, is there, I'll make a motion.
So with that, if I may make a motion to pass this resolution, thank you, Mayor.
I'll second.
Okay.
Thank you.
First and a second, is there any objections? No. See no objections.
You had a second? Oh, sorry about that. Councilmember
I think the
Monaghan.
motion was made earlier than I seconded.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Councilwoman Rubio made the motion?
And seconded by
seconded
Councilmember
by
Garcia.
Councilwoman
Yeah, sorry about
Garcia.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me just real quick, just let the average audience know that every commission in the city of Baldwin Park, for as long as I've been on the city council, has always been dominated by women. So we have been probably more progressive than any other city. Baldwin Park has more elected women of the Baldwin Park, of course, the city council, the Baldwin Park Unified School District, the actual Valley County Water District. So let's just take credit because this city is much more progressive than the neighboring cities where males dominate. In Baldwin Park, the women dominate the political arena when it comes to elected officials, with the exception of the Upper San Gabriel, because that's dominated by men. All right, thank you very much.
Can I make a comment real quickly?
Yes.
And I agree
Sure.
with you,
Oh,
Mayor. We
yes.
have been really, really good
Yes.
at having majority boards. We have the water district, which is female dominated. We have the school board, which is also female dominated. And as you see on this dais, but if you remember the conversation from the gentleman back in the 60s, when they weren't allowed to promote, you don't know who's on the dais at any given time, and for that, you need something in place. We are very progressive, but we don't know if the next council will be, and I think this is more about encouraging the surrounding neighborhoods. If you look at West Covina, there's not one female on that board, and so I think I would like to encourage these other cities that are neighboring to us to follow suit, to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to at least try and be part of the process. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, so item passes. I'm sorry, number 9? Councilwoman Cruz Baca. Do you want to read the item and then?
Yes,
talk about it?
number 9 is the renewal of grant writing services contract with California Consulting. And I would like to bring this item back to the second meeting in February. I don't think Mr. Samolian is here, right? Pardon me?
He has representatives.
Oh, he has
in the
representatives. I would really like to see a presentation. I know that there was an exhibit of all the grants and everything you've worked on, and what the percentage is that the city has made in comparison to what we have paid you for your contract. But I think that I would really like to bring this back to the second meeting in February so that we can see a presentation
Yes, I agree.
of everything that's gone on in the last few years or the duration of your contract. It's been a year, right, for your contract?
In a year, yeah.
Yes, if you please. That way I think we can all understand more at length, what you've worked on and what we've done.
Not a problem. Be happy to do that. What I want to say is that when we talk about grant writing services, it's also we provide grant administration and support the staff. And the other thing is that there's a new federal administration, so the dynamics have changed a little bit in terms of grants, especially with the Department of Justice. and there's certain trends that we have to be cognizant of. At the state is one thing, but with federal grants, it's changed quite a bit. But we can do that.
Could you
We can
please,
do-
thanks, and you can explain all of that to us, because
No,
I
no
think
problem, not a
some of
problem.
us may not be aware. I know about the federal grants and what it pertains to, especially for cities that are sanctuary cities or consider themselves safe cities or whatever. So if you could please bring it back and tell Mr. Simoleon to sort of do a presentation so that we can do a PowerPoint or something and come and speak to us, maybe at a special meeting
Yes.
or
We could arrange
Okay.
another meeting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very
So there's a
much.
motion made by Councilwoman Cruzbaca to bring this item back in the form of a presentation at the second meeting in February? The second
Yes.
meeting in
Thank
February.
you.
Okay, so that's the motion. I second it. Any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. Okay, so now let's move on to the City Council acting as a successor agency of the Community Development Commission. Consent calendar, items SA1, SA2. Move approval.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Monica Garcia. Any objections? Hearing none, so moved. Public hearing, I'm sorry.
That's off calendar.
Okay, this item is pulled, number 10. Okay, then we have item, reports of officers, number 11, direction to proceed with General On-Call Consulting to provide engineering, design, plan check, construction, management, and inspection, and related services as needed. If council has read the items or any comments, or would you like staff to make a quick report? Why don't you just summarize real quickly what this is about?
I've actually prepared a very brief presentation to
General?
kind of go through it. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So a little bit of background on what we set up. On June 18, 2014, Council approved a general on-call consultant list comprised of 3 firms for a period of 3 years. As the expiration for those contracts was approaching, Council directed staff to solicit proposals from qualified firms and extended the current contract for the current consultants till such time that we decide moving forward with the engineering services contracts. So on October 26, 2017, 8 proposals were received.
Reports of officers.
A multi-departmental review panel was assembled to evaluate all submittals. The evaluation process was based on a weighted scale for criteria such as experience, proposed staff, understanding of scope, and proposed fees. Based on the evaluation process, the top 4 firms were invited for interviews. And based on those interviews, all 4 firms were deemed qualified. So this is the results of the top 4 ranking. The top ranked firm was Kimley Horn of Orange, California. This firm really impressed us. They have a lot of quiet zone experience. Their panel that they brought to the interview was top notch, and their experience speaks for themselves. So they have a lot of experience. The second rated ranked firm is Infrastructure Engineers. They strike a good balance as already existing and providing services as the current consultant. Staff has good rapport with this firm. We have quite a bit of projects that we've been working on them. The bus shelter project that was accepted today for completion was one of the infrastructure engineers projects. The firm is responsive, and we're happy to work with them. The third firm is Civil Source. The city of Baldwin Park has only worked on 1 project with Civil Source, and the design was it fell behind and it ran out of money, so they opted to provide some services for free. So we have some good experience with them, but we've only worked on them on 1 project. The fourth rated or ranked firm is Evan Brooks and Associates. Although primarily a planning firm, this firm has helped the city over the years obtain a lot of money in grants. And they help us with grant management and funds management. I think they didn't score as high because on the engineering side, we weren't that impressed with the consultant services for the engineering services. However, if we look at cost, this scale changes a little bit. So the top firm, Kimley Horn, does have the highest proposed fees. Again, infrastructure strikes a nice balance in the middle. They have a nice balance between qualifications and fees. Civil Source ranked as the firm with the lowest fees, and Evan Brooks was third in terms of fees. So we are asking council to consider from the following 4 options. Option number 1 is to accept proposals from all firms, from the top 4 firms, and authorize staff to enter into negotiations for an agreement. This option will serve the city best as it establishes an on-call list of consultants that can be utilized as needed. This option is the most compliant with the QBS or qualifications-based selection procurement process. So it's the recommended option. Option 2 is to accept the proposal from Kimley Horn and Associates and authorize a negotiation for a professional services agreement. This firm scored the overall highest rating, but also, as you saw before, has the highest proposed rates. But their proposal may comply with the QBS procurement system. Option 3, accept the proposal from the firm with the lowest rates, and that'll be Civil Source Inc., as we saw previously, and authorize the staff to negotiate an agreement. This firm was rated 3rd overall. However, I will caution that because of the QBS procurement process, which discourages selecting a firm based solely on cost, it is not the recommended option. And the QBS system, just procurement system or process, just to be clear, is the state and federal established process for securing consultants on those projects. So if we opt for number 3, we can still use them for other projects, but we will not be able to use Civil Source for projects that are or that have state and federal dollars. Option number 4 is to accept the proposal from the current services provider, infrastructure engineers, and authorize the negotiation for PSA. This firm scored 2nd in both overall rankings and proposed fees, and their contract may also qualify for QBS. So should the council opt to go with option number 1, a percentage-based rate structure will be utilized for the basis of negotiations with the firms. This system is used by a lot of cities. It is becoming very popular, and what it does, instead of having fixed rates for services that relate to design, construction management, and plan check, you use a percentage-based on a tiered system. So for projects $500,000 or less, the design fee would be 8%. For projects between $500,000 and $1 million, the fee will be 7%. For projects over $1 million, would be 6% for design services. For construction management and inspection, you're looking at a 3% down the line for all 3 tiers for construction management. Inspection, it's a 5%, 4%, and 3%. Plan check cost, all firms have agreed that it's a 65% of the collected fees and 90% for expedited plan checks. Any questions?
No, I'll just go ahead and make a motion that we go with option number one, only because I think that the four firms, with all the things that are going on now, I think that we need other alternatives when we don't have just the one on call. I noticed that in one of the exhibits or in the contracts, it said that we have to also, on some of the projects, look at prevailing wages, and that concerns me. I also like the fact that we can do a percentage instead of paying a flat fee or some of the costs. Earlier, we spoke about saving some money for the city because there's a lot of revenue that's uncertain at this time. So I make a motion that we go with option number one.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor made by Cruz Baca for option number one. Is there a second?
I don't think Susan's paying attention.
Okay, let me repeat that, Councilwoman Rubio. There was a motion made for item 11 to choose option number one, and there was a motion made, so I'm asking, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so there's an option number one, there's a first and a second. Are there any objections?
I'll object.
Okay, roll call vote.
This is to vote for option number one?
This is to vote for option number, so that's
Yes.
Yes.
No.
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 Okay, motion fails. So I'll make a motion for item number 4. Is there a second for item number 4?
Which is item number 4?
Item number 4 says, accept the proposal from the current services provider, infrastructure engineers, public director, enter into a PSA.
I'll go second.
Okay, the reason I do it is that although all firms are all qualified, but I think number 2 is the lowest price and also is very familiar with a number of the projects. So,
Mr. Vice Mayor, if I may, a point of clarification before you vote. I reviewed the contract that's before you, and it doesn't have a term for the contract, so a number of years. Would you like to add that term in there before you vote?
you could add that term in there. Well, okay, I would put...
Then you need to make a different motion adding that term, a substitute
okay.
motion.
Tell you what, let's do this motion and then we'll do the term second.
Well, no, because if you do that motion and adopt this contract, you can't do a second contract.
Exactly.
So you need to make a substitute motion to add that term.
Okay, I'll do a substitute motion to add a 5-year term to the contract.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a first, a second, and an objection. Roll call vote. This is to vote for the term of the contract for 5 years.
Vice Mayor Pacheco?
Yes.
Mayor Manuel Lozano?
Yes.
No, and I need to bring it to the attention of everyone that they are voting for a 5-year contract, and that's fine, and that's great. I think absolutely, but I do not feel that it is at the best interest of our residents of Baldwin Park to be locked into one company for 5 years. Earlier, we had a discussion about another contract, and it was said no. So I have to clarify to the residents that are listening or anyone else that this is locking the city into one engineering company for 5 years. And Councilmember Rubio and myself have been very vocal about some of the invoices, and I'm sorry, but it is no.
Okay.
Yes, and I understand that there are fixed rates based on the percentages that were presented to us this evening. So yes, I support.
Councilmember Rubio?
I'm sorry, can you clarify? I just want to make sure that I'm voting on the right thing. So this is to either support or oppose?
No, Council, this is to vote for, this is a substitute motion to vote for a 5-year term for the contract, and then we'll do the other motion.
For infrastructure.
No.
Infrastructure. No? Okay. Okay, motion passes.
Can I just clarify something only because I, being a city
Hold on,
clerk
hold on.
previously.
Let me just clarify this.
You
because
pointed item number 2 in the agenda. It's not number 2, it's number 4. So if you are saying it out loud,
I
it was
never
number
said
2.
that. I said number 4.
He was referring to the ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's number 2 ranking.
Yeah, he said the rankings was number 2, but he said option number 4.
Are you sure? Okay.
Okay, I have a question for Sam. When you gave us the percentage, because Councilmember Garcia brought it up, When you mentioned, and I didn't see that in the contract, infrastructure's contract, when you gave us the scale of how they would be paid, did that include infrastructure, or was that just the other three firms, or if we went with all four?
Yeah, this percentage base is if we opted to go for all four.
Yes,
Now,
that's what I thought.
I do plan to implement this percentage base for the any of the options and negotiate with the consultant. I do want to make one quick clarification that this item seeks direction on how to proceed with the selection process. I am not, and we are not proposing a contract at this time. Once we conclude negotiations with the selected option, I will bring back that item with a contract. But I understand that if it is approved, it'll be for a time period of 5 years.
Okay, hold on. We have there was a motion made for the 5-year term, so that
No, I
passed.
didn't make a motion.
No, I know you didn't. I did.
Oh.
So I want to clarify that I made a substitute motion for a 5-year term for this contract, and it passed by a majority vote. Is that
Okay,
clear?
Point of clarification, Mr. Vice Mayor. You're actually voting on a contract today as opposed to what Mr. Gutierrez was talking about. Is that correct?
We're voting on a contract today because that's on the agenda. Is that correct?
Okay, well,
No, I did not present it in that way because I didn't know which option the council was going to go with. So I did not bring a contract to approve tonight. We're seeking direction so that we can go back to the selected option and negotiate a contract with if the council opts for option number 4, which is to keep our current consultant, then I will go back and negotiate a contract with them with the caveat that it'll be for 5 years if that's the way it's approved. But once we have a negotiated contract or agreement, I will bring that back to council for approval.
Okay, Vice Mayor, can I say something here? Can I say that if we're going to go in the direction of giving you direction, then I understood that these fees, as they were presented to us, are applicable to all the options. And so if we do move forward with option 4, I would like you to look at these fees as, part of the negotiation process and set those, at what
Mayor,
was presented
hold
to us.
on. Let me just clarify.
Thank you,
something.
council member.
You
That is the intent.
Okay.
But you have a contract on this agenda, so you're asking us to approve a contract.
that's why I was confused, Sam, because there's a consultant services agreement here.
Yeah, that is our boilerplate contract. That is not it's not made out to any consultant because we did not know who it was. It's our boilerplate contract. So we want to negotiate rates, and we want to, if we go with this structure, for example, this percentage-based rate structure is not part of that contract, so we need to negotiate that.
Let me just say, I'm a little confused that was not prepared. I don't understand why we're having to go through this.
The only reason is because we didn't at that time, we did not have direction on which option or consultant to go and bring a contract for. So if we were going to negotiate with all 4, that would probably work out different than one.
Okay, well,
Mayor.
Go ahead. I just don't buy that, but go ahead.
Could I please, and I'm not defending anybody, but from what I understood, is there can't be a contract unless we decide on which of the options. And I mean, we could have written up a contract assuming that this is what either the 4 or option number 1, option number 2, but that also takes up a lot of staff's time, which I understand. It's not until
Okay, all right, I get it. Can we move on, though? We'll do item number 4.
Can I please finish?
Because you've repeated yourself, but continue.
No, I'm not repeating
Yes, you
myself.
have, but go ahead.
Could we please, I believe that at this time, this was only, like they said, for us to look at to see what was in store, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the company that we chose, which was option number 5, are going to go for. Because obviously, this percentage wasn't included in their particular proposal.
And now that the council has opted for option 4, I would be more than happy to go back and as quick as possible come back with a agreed upon contract for council consideration at the next meeting.
Okay.
Or the meeting after.
All right, so there was a motion made for a term of 5 years that was passed. So I'll make a motion to approve option number 4?
I'll second that.
We did a roll call for the first option, for the first
It would
proposal.
It would be a motion to adopt item number 4 with direction to Mr. Gutierrez to draft the contract with a 5-year term.
Correct.
And the percentage.
And the percentage.
I thought I'd second that. Didn't I second that?
Okay.
Okay, all righty.
Okay. So-
clarification.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, there was a motion made for a term of 5 years. That passed. There was a second motion made for to go with option number 4.
Correct.
And there was a second. There was an objection.
2 objections.
There was 2 objections.
Okay, so roll call vote for that. Just do a roll call vote.
It's another.
Vice Mayor Pacheco,
Yes.
Mayor Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember,
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, motion passes. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to thank the council. Thank you, and we'll be back with this item.
Now, I just want to make one more comment. Councilwoman Cruz talks about that the 5-year term was not acceptable, but yet she voted recently on a Monday when there was less than the majority here on a contract that was basically a long-term forever contract. So when you excuse me, sir, I'm going to ask you to leave if you speak again out of turn. So can you ask him to leave, sir? He's out of turn. This is the 3rd time that you've spoken that. So officer, okay, chief, can you please direct your officer to remove that gentleman? Okay, can you do that? Thank you, sir. Okay. I'll wait till the disturbance is gone. All right, thank you. I don't know. Okay, anyways, Cruz, you vote for contracts that are long-term, lifetime, and yet you'll sit here and criticize other council members, and I think that's wrong. I just want to make that point. Thank you.
I just want to
Go ahead.
clarify something.
Clarify, please do.
And then we can all probably end this.
Please do.
The contract that was voted on December the 18th, which was to give a distribution company the sole contract, was also voted by Councilmember Garcia and Mayor Lozano. And that is not costing the city any money. In fact, it will generate revenue. This particular contract with the engineering services has cost the city a lot of money, and it will continue costing the city money. Thank you.
No, that is not it. That is inaccurate. You gave a contract for thousands of dollars to somebody else, and at the same time, we lost 5 other contracts for $220,000 in that exchange. So that would just be my criticism, but it's done, it's passed, it's moved on, and we'll continue. Thank you.
Can I say something here, Mayor, Vice Mayor? I do want to say that according to staff's review and determination, that this infrastructure engineer was the 2nd lowest rate, if I understood that correctly.
That is correct. They were the
That is
second lowest
correct.
rate as far as proposed fees.
Yes, so they are the 2nd lowest rate. They have the experience of working with our city. They also qualify for QVS, which is state and federal. And these fees, it seemed to me like they could apply to every option and work for the city, because this is what we put out through the RFP process. So
Right.
I just want to make that comment.
And during the interviews, the rate structure was discussed with all 4 firms.
Okay.
So infrastructure is already aware of the
Okay,
rates
so
that
the
we
rate
plan.
structure would apply to any one of those options.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to be clear I want to make it clear I do support our contracted distributor, but I wanted to make the point, although I wasn't here to vote for that contract, that Councilwoman Cruz will criticize this council members for voting for a 5-year contract, yet she votes for another contract that's just, lifetime contract. And that's the only comment that I have to make. Well, we could talk about it off record. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Again, I would like to clarify that I didn't vote alone. I voted with
I was with you.
Okay.
Mayor Lozano and Councilmember Garcia, and I believe that all 3 of us felt that it was the right thing to do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I know that we have differences, but we're just going to move on. All right, thank you. Let's go to the next item. But closed session, I mean, there's no more, public communication was closed, so. No.
Can I approach?
No, you cannot. Public communications is closed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to, we did 11, proceed with consultant. Okay, item number 12. Which staff member is doing that one?
That's also, yeah, that's also my.
That's off?
Yeah, that's also my item.
Item number 13?
12.
12. Yeah. So we are getting very, very close to implementing the commuter express line, which is comprised of 2 trolleys that were approved by council previously. We have now finalized the report for the route analysis and stop schedule, and I'd like to invite Hector from EBA to come up and do the presentation to council to just let you know where we're at on the study and on the routes and stops.
Is there a decision to make?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City staff, and residents of Baldwin Park. The City of Baldwin Park Commuter Connector Express Line project was awarded funding via the 2013 Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority Express Lanes Netto Revenue Reinvestment Grant Program. That's long, but that's what's funding this program. The objective is to shuttle business and medical commuters quickly from the city's transit center here at the Metrolink Baldwin Park Station to the city's major employment centers, which include Kaiser Permanente and United Parcel Service, UPS. The city selected Evan Brooks Associates, EBA, to conduct the route analysis to test the feasibility of the project and conduct community outreach to survey the sentiment, support, and the opinion of the stakeholders. What this report does, we conducted the report, we did the feasibility of the route, conducted the analysis of local support outreach at 2 of the farmers markets at Kaiser Permanente, and also at markets at the Baldwin Park Street Market and concerts in the park. These took place on June 30th, July 28th, and July 20th, respectively. So based on the feasibility that we conducted and also the outreach that we received from the community, we were able to come to a conclusion that the most effective route to be able to make it an express for those commuters and also to be able to target the existing transit system, so encompassing the Metrolink timetable and also Foothill Transit, Metro, and the local Baldwin Park lines. We put together a route leveraging the established stops that are already part of there. Okay, so, and taking into account those stops, it was strategically identified to be able to leverage those already other transit system in place. So there's 6 stops that are going to be during the rush hours going from and coming from the Metrolink station down to where the campus of Kaiser Permanente Hospital and UPS. And during the midday, we're going to try to capture the lunch hour, and it's going to have a little bit of a deviation, not going completely through the Baldwin Park Boulevard route, but it's also going to turn on Francisquito and go down Hamburger Lane and down by where In-N-Out is. So there's 2 additional stops in the midday that are going to be proposed. So these are the proposed stops. There's 6 during the rush hour, and then there's 7 during the midday stops. The proposed timetable is going to be able to target getting staff to the Kaiser Permanente in time for their early employment, and also provide them transportation, transit option at the end of their shift. So as a result of the outreach, we were able to identify the need to be able to have service provided before 7 o'clock in the morning, and then also concluding to be there available at the end of their shift at 7 o'clock. So the service is going to be running from 6:20 a.m. to 7:41 a.m. And so the community outreach that took place encompassed 336 surveys and also 52 open-ended comments. 70% willing to utilize public transportation. It was identified that 50% of the surveys identified that public transportation does not currently meet their need. With the information that we provided them and the routes and the timetables, they were it was 87% that they would be willing to try the service. Any questions?
What are the fees?
Those fees have not been established yet.
Okay. Then I make a motion to approve and implement the Commuter Connector Express Transit Service, including routes, schedules, and stops between the Ballpark Metrolink Transit Station and Kaiser Permanente Hospital and Medical Center.
I second that motion. Any objections? No objections, so moved.
I have a quick question.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a pamphlet for the routes or any?
No.
Or what can?
Nothing. We have not gone to publication with any of the proposed.
Once we negotiate with the operator, we will we'll do the printouts and pamphlets and distribute
great.
those out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, staff. We're going to move on to item number 13, designation of primary and alternative representative for the San Gabriel Valley Mosque and Vector Control District. This district meets once on a Friday. There's a stipend of $100 and a free meal.
Oh, that's good. Excuse me, have we had this before?
No, this is brand new. So I nominate Cruz Baca, and I'll be the alternate.
I'll second.
Second.
You're my
I'll
best
second
friend.
that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
This way, when all the complaints we hear around.
Oh, thank
wow.
you.
All right.
And I hate.
Okay, so Cruz
I know,
Baca is
me
the
too.
now the new mosquito lady, and I'm her alternate mosquito person. I'm just kidding.
Can I ask something really quickly, only because I know we haven't had a report for a little while. Can we get a report from the vector control to see where we're at? At one point, we had the tiger mosquito, and it was, there was a lot of deaths, if I remember correctly. So can we get a report sometime soon? Thank you.
My vector control mosquito lady, can you please request that?
I'm sorry.
There's a request for you to get a report from.
I thought she was going to ask me for a report. That's why I'm sort of.
Well, it is. It's your first assignment.
No, from the vector control.
Okay.
All right, go
Can
ahead.
you send me the information?
Okay, review of applicants and consideration of appointment for the vacant seats of the Housing Commission of the City of Baldwin Park. Can we hold off, I guess, with the now?
I'll second that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a change in how we're picking, so choosing individuals. Okay, anything else? Okay, real quick here, we have adjournment. Is there a motion?
Second.
First and a motion to adjourn. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, everybody, Happy New Year. Have a oh, I'm sorry, hold on.
Housing and finance?
Okay, we have,
Yeah, he wants to.
I want to open up, hold on. I want to open up the Finance Authority and Housing Authority concurrently with the Finance Authority, and make a motion to move consent calendar for both.
I'll move.
So moved. Any objections?
Nope.
No objections.
For housing or finance?
That's for both housing and finance concurrently. Does that work? Okay,
Second.
I think Monica did.
who made the second?
I
Who made the
second,
motion?
I second.
Okay.
Oh, Manny made the
The mayor.
second. Monica made the motion. No, I made the motion. Okay, I made the motion, Manny made the second.
We'll go with
It's been a long night. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service, for attending our wonderful meeting. Oh, and I need to adjourn concurrently the Housing and Finance Committee meetings. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Monica Garcia. Is there any objections? Hearing none, so moved. Okay. Good night, everybody. Viva Baldwin Park.